Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another what sold video. I get really caught up and then I get really behind, but this has been a fantastic first start of the school year for my family, for me, for volunteering. And so reselling has definitely been the most part-time for me that it has been in a couple years, and all is good. We are coming up on ending marching band season, and that is going to free up about 20 hours a week for me to jump back into it. So we are going to just jump right in. I'm going to pick up where I left off in the last video because I know I had some sales I wanted to share with you. And although Halloween is now over and there's a couple Halloween items, as things are still out in the stores or people are donating things, I still think that these are great things to be on the lookout for. And as always, there are some kids brands that you might not know about that maybe will just be set in that brain. All right, we are jumping in with a Mercari sale. Shocking, I know. There's not very many of them, but I do still cross-list to Mercari because it is the only platform that keeps my items in chronological order. Poshmark, I relist every 60 days, and eBay relists automatically every 30 days. So that's how I know like where I've left off if I'm cross-listing. I'm sure there's a better way. This is just how my creature of no change works. So Mercari, the brand is Carbon Soldier, very expensive kids brand. I learned just by stumbling upon this item at a Once Upon a Child, felt quality, looked up their website, insane retail prices. I traded $6 worth. Anytime I get something at Once Upon a Child, Plato's, Style Encore, Clothes Mentor, I will tell you what I paid, but just know that that was a 99% chance of it being a credit, meaning I took stuff from the bins and traded, or from thread-up boxes or old inventory. So $6, I turned it into $29.75 plus the buyer pays shipping on all of my platforms. So I made a profit of 20 bucks on I think it was like a little girl size 5, really cute style. And it had a disclosed flaw. Lily Pulitzer will always show up on my what solds. I love to wear it. I love to sell it. I'm in Florida, so I am able to pick it up quite often. I picked up this skirt very recently at a local Goodwill, and I paid $7.78 as my overall cost of goods that day. When I do regular Goodwill hauls, I just take the total number of items I purchased divided by my total, and that's how I get my cost of goods. And it sold within like 2 days of listing for my full asking price on Poshmark of $38. And I don't make too many sales like that. I do like to mention I use Posher VA, shameless plug. I have a code down below. You can try it out, save 20%. But I have it does not send offers the first 24 hours an item is listed. And I do sell a lot of items that first 24 hours at full price. So just a little tip for you to maybe try. And then after that, likers will get an offer. I believe I have it set right now to 7 minutes, and I send 20% off, no discounted shipping. And then usually on Fridays, I will send out 30% offers, and then 40, and then if I'm just trying to clear stuff out, 50 or 60. I've been trying to do just to get rid of really old things, and it's working. All right, this is something I would not list today, but 2 years ago, I listed this TY little retired beanie bear thing. It came in like a package of other stuffed animals when I used to buy those from local Goodwills, so I had $1 into it, sold for $6 on Poshmark. Still ended up making a $2.05 profit. So things will eventually sell. I usually will not remove items once I've taken the time to get it listed. All right, if you guys watched my last one, I talked a lot about Pottery Barn kids costumes, Halloween costumes. Pick them up all year long. They will even sell outside of the Halloween season for just random various events. I'm telling you, I sell them all year long. I had $9.88 into this panda, and it sold for $50 on Poshmark. And I think they retail for $75 to $85 currently. All right, these little girls' Gap tights, they were new with the tag. I think it was a package of 2. Came in a thread-up kids 50-pound box where my average was 66 cents per item, and sold on eBay for $13. This was also a very quick flip from a recent Goodwill haul. I had $9 into this Lily Pulitzer Samora blazer. I think it was a size 0. It was a tiny size. And it sold for $40, which if it was a bigger size, it could have sold for more. That's the thing you have to remember with Lily is in most cases, the bigger the size, the bigger your profit will be. This was a brand that I learned, Elizabeth plus Faith. I believe you can still purchase things. It's like a small shop and everything is Taylor Swift themed. I picked up this Taylor Swift Halloween outfit at Goodwill for $5.58. I think I shared it in a recent haul. Recent for me could also be like 2 months ago. I apologize. And it sold for $25 on Poshmark. Right, this Mountain Hardwear burgundy fleece jacket. I picked this up at the bins back in January. Thought it would sell fast. It did not, but it did finally sell on Posh for $20. I will probably have to cut this video. You will notice I will come back, different lighting, different everything. My daughter made one of the roles in our middle school play, and today she has a theater rehearsal for the first time, and then we rush straight to dance class and hope to not be late. So I would know I will not have enough time to finish filming all of this, but just wanted to let you know why things will look different. All right, this brand, definitely want to know, Aloha Collection. I will put a close-up of the tag right here. They make bags. We actually own a couple. I didn't even know it was a thing. One of our aunts purchased my little girls some Disney ones before we went to Hawaii, little crossbodies. I picked this pouch up and I had $5.58 average cost of goods, but I remember it was only priced $2 or $3.99. And this was just a travel bag, like with a zipper. I mean, it maybe was this big. And it sold so fast on Poshmark for $26. And I checked comps. People must collect certain collaborations, certain colors. Go look up the brand and search by price. It's crazy. So definitely one to know. And I learned from another YouTuber, I'm not sure who, but Bath & Body Works, the little plugins, sometimes those are worth money. I had this Halloween one and I don't even know where I got this. It's just been sitting in my inventory, closet shelf, and I decided to list it the middle of September, and it sold the same day. I listed for my full asking price of $20. It lit up when you plugged it in, had a little coffin. You'll see it. It was cute, but we don't decorate for Halloween. I love Halloween, but for no other reason than by the time I would remember, it would be time to take it all down. So sometimes I do fall, but I'm just behind. It's fine. All right, this More Than Magic, it's a Target brand. These were sequin slippers. I purchased these on clearance after Easter or after Christmas, I don't know, one year, and I used them as party favors. One of my daughters, it's been so long, I don't even remember which one or for what birthday. I just found them in a tote, and they were the party favors, and this was the leftovers. So I think there were 6 of them, and they were all different sizes, and they sold on eBay for $15. So did I probably lose money? Probably, but it's better than just donating them. And they were new with tag, and somebody hopefully used them as party favors also. All right, this Charter Club Snowflake robe was new with the tags. It came in a fun box last summer, June of 2024, and I had about $5 into it. Sold on eBay for $22. This Georgia Bulldog sweatshirt I thought would sell faster because I picked it up back in January, but I thought it would sell over the summer when people were going off to college and such. It did not. It did finally sell though on September 20th for $13 on Poshmark. Another Pottery Barn kids costume. This one, they all sold within days of listing. I had $9.88 into this cost, average to my cost of goods. Once Upon a Child does price these up. I think I paid between $14 and $16 for them, but this one sold for $45 on Posh. This I picked up knowing I wouldn't make a ton of profit, but I believe they only had it priced at $3. It was the brand Lake, L-A-K-E. They make the most comfy loungewear. It's very expensive. They also make little kids clothes. This Halloween sleeper, it was tiny, like a newborn or 0 to 3, and it sold on Poshmark for $20. Another Lily Pulitzer dress. This one I did pay up at $25. I went to Goodwill one day and found a whole bunch of Lily, and I knew this one was going to sell because it's what us Lily lovers call a holy grail unicorn print. It's just one, I forget the title now that I'm trying to tell you, but you will see, so cute, so vibrant. It was only a size 2. I absolutely loved it, and it sold for $74. So All in all, it was a $34.20 profit, but you guys know when I'm going to Goodwill, I probably picked up a thing or two for my own family, and that purchase was able to make a thing or two that we kept free. In fact, I know I kept a Lily Pulitzer sweater, cardigan, shrug, so. All right, this Winnie the Pooh Tigger tie, I purchased this back in March, so not that long ago. I loved it. It's vintage Winnie the Pooh. When I was growing up, my entire bedroom was Winnie the Pooh all the way through, almost through high school. I just loved Winnie the Pooh, and this had music. It was all the things I love, and it sold on eBay for $10.50. And you know, at the bins, I paid like nothing for it. This was a fantastic sale, and I'm going to, after I tell you this sale, pause here, and I will be back to go over some more sales with you. This was gifted to me. My family knows that I do this as a side hustle. Anytime anyone is going to take stuff to the dump at donation, they give it to me. I dig through it, whether I find one thing, 10 things, sometimes nothing. I'm always going to drop things off at a local thrift store anyway. And this particular time, I stumbled across this little Coach vintage pouch. And so I had nothing into it. It was indeed vintage and apparently highly collectible. I mean, it had some wear to it, and it sold on eBay for $85. So tell your family you're a reseller, and you know, if you find, I remember this day she brought me 2 huge totes, and I pulled out 2 things to list, and the rest of it just went straight in my trunk. So that was awesome. That was $67.83 of pure profit. All right, I will be back after 3 hours of the dance studio, and then I'll be home for an hour, and then I go back to the dance studio to pick up the second. So Tuesdays are crazy for us, but I wanted to at least start filming this video so I would have something to put out for you guys this week. All right, see you later. All right, I'm back. It is the next day. You know, life happens. So we ended off with the amazing Coach little pouch. All right, the next thing, another $0 to me item. A friend of mine gave me a bag of items that she didn't want. This was a pair of Nua Tags men's size 48 Under Armour pants, and they sold on eBay for $31.96. So sometimes the big sizes can do well for me, and other times they sit. So I think it just really depends. This was a fantastic find. I picked up these leggings for $1 at a local thrift store because they had them marked with the kids section. They were an adult extra small, but I knew they were something just by feeling them. The brand is Waterlust, and they are meant to be worn in the ocean, like whether you're underneath like scuba diving gear or whatever, cold water rated. And they were really pretty. They're really cool looking. They are quite expensive, brand new. I'm pretty sure these were new without tags, and they had a lot of attention. Even though they were only a size extra small, they ended up selling for $50 on Poshmark. These Spanx Sun-Kissed blue shorts, they were not new with tags. I got them at a regular Goodwill. I had $6 into them, sold on Poshmark. And we are on September 22nd, so shorts still selling. It is 89 degrees outside today on November the 5th here in Florida. However, I just saw that next Tuesday, it's going to be 38 degrees in the morning. So, but then it'll probably be 80 the next week. This is the thing about Florida. When it gets cold, it doesn't like stay cold. Like I feel like it does some places. We have a cold day and then a hot day and then a cold day, and you just never know. So in the mornings, you need a jacket and the heated seats on. And by noon, you need the air blasting. All right, so let's see. Spanx shorts, $30 Poshmark. These Baby Alive diapers, I picked up not too long ago. I had $2 into them from Goodwill, and they sold for my full asking price of $32 on Poshmark. So I thought that was a pretty good little flip, and it didn't take them too long to sell. I picked them up in June. That doesn't mean that's when I listed them, and they sold within 90 days. All right, this Universal Wizarding World of Harry Potter, this was a tank top. It's been a little bit. New with tags. Came from the bins. I had roughly $1 into it. Sold on eBay for $18. I love Patagonia, and I know some resellers say it's not selling anymore, but for me here in Florida, it's not a brand I find often. So when I find it, I pick it up, especially when it is $1 at a local church sale, and I sell it on Poshmark for $73. Yes, please. This was another fantastic Plato's Closet trade. This is why I love to go to the bins, get items that I know Plato's wants to buy, trade them a bunch of items, come home with 2 to 5 pieces. These Fjallraven pants, they were in the men's section, but they were actually women's outdoor pants. They had them priced at $14 and they sold on Poshmark for $105. Love it. All right, this pair of mini Melissa little giraffe. You guys, if you've been around, you know how much I love mini Melissas. They were like this big. I had $6 trade-in credits from Once Upon a Child. They sold on eBay for $19. Sadly, they're just not selling like they used to, but I'll still pick them up if they're under $5 and in perfect condition. This Disney cake-worthy denim jacket. Oh, I had so many great sales at the end of this month of September, which is why I wanted to still share them with you. This was another Plato's trade, guys, and they had this priced at $12. I knew the brand Cakeworthy could be very expensive, especially the Disney items. This was, you will see, the most gorgeous Beauty and the Beast embroidered denim jacket. I thought about keeping it, but we don't have Disney passes right now. We are in our Universal era, so I did decide to list it at $125, and that's what it sold for. So I made a profit of $84, which is pretty great. These Victoria's Secret slippers I have had since December of 2023. They came in a fun box from ThredUp. I had $4 into them, and they sold for $17.80 on eBay. This Jungle Cruise, the windbreaker jacket, came from my little sister. So the third person on this list from September that gives me items that they no longer want to do with whatever, I decided to list this one. I think this is the jacket. It was missing its drawstrings, or there was some issue with it, but it still sold for $14, and I thought it was a pretty cool piece. You don't see a lot of merchandise for a Jungle Cruise. This item was from January of 2023, so even older. It was a Kate Spade rope purse. This came in a ThredUp, some kind of ThredUp box. I only had $5 into it, which makes me think it came out of a fun box, but probably came out of a purse box. Who knows? It was so long ago. Sold for $16. It was not in good shape. This Sonoma adaptive long sleeve top actually sold really quickly once I finally got it listed. It came from the bins. It was new with tags. I like picking up things like this. It had snaps up here for like medical equipment, and I just think things like that people, might be seeking out because it's useful to them. And it sold on eBay for $17. This Varley Luna leopard print leggings came from my friend Destiny. Make sure you're watching her channel. We did last year, it's been a whole year, we did a Thanksgiving trade box, and this was something that I got from her. Her YouTube channel is Retro by Destiny, and sold on eBay for $22. This was something I shouldn't have listed, but I'm still going to share it with you because I'm sharing with you guys all of my sales for the second half of September. I did a consignment for a friend. I've talked about it a few times, but this was from the very first batch I got from her back in May of 2023, and I kind of felt obligated to list everything. After that first one, I think I did 2 more consignments for her. I talked to her. We definitely did not list everything. But this was sun damaged. Like the whole back of the dress was sun faded, like on the top. So if you'd wore a denim jacket or something with it, it would have been fine. But anyway, I had nothing into it. It sold on eBay for $11. So it would have been a cool piece to upcycle. I'm sure that's what they did with it. All right, this Squishmallow SeaWorld Halloween edition. It was like not the giant one, not the tiny one. It was like this big. We had SeaWorld passes back in 2024 when I picked this up. Must have been fall of 23 when I bought them. Anyway, they had a deal, like a buy one, get one deal. My girls wanted some, so they kept some. I listed some. I made my money back selling 2 of them, and I still have 1 more to go, but sold on eBay for $38.40. These Lululemon Align high-rise leggings picked up at a local Goodwill. $5 was my average cost of goods. I will still pick up Lululemon even at the regular Goodwills if they are a full length and of course in great condition. I won't pick up the sports bras and tank tops and stuff unless it's for my own kid from the regular thrift store because they usually price it up, but they missed these and they sold on eBay for $36. I thought this would sell for more. This was the brand Vocal, and comps actually looked pretty good when I initially looked at this tank top. It was like a tank dress tunic. I really wasn't sure. I had $5 into it from a ThredUp 200-pound bulk box because I don't believe I listed many items out of that order. It was not a good one. And it sold finally for $10. So, I don't know. All right, these Capezio Padini jazz shoes. I will always pick up Capezio, Block, Sodanka, like the good name brand dance shoes from the bins. If they are still in pretty good shape, it's okay if they show a little bit of wear. So I had about $1 into these. They sold for $22 on eBay. Like, dance shoes are not cheap. Ask me how I know. And sometimes I know my girls, they actually prefer used ones because they've been worn in. So the leather is like good to go. All right, this Chico's pink lace sweater came from ThredUp so long ago that I don't even have a date. So 2021, 22. $6.60 is what I had into it, which makes me think that it probably came from the outlet when they used to have a ThredUp outlet. And if you bought over 20 items, you got 40% off, but not everybody had access to the outlet. But that's when I was spending a lot of money on mystery boxes. So anyway, finally sold for $17 on eBay. The brand Masala. This was a boho looking maxi dress I actually bought for myself from Clothes Mentor. I had $12 into it. I bought a couple dresses trying to find something to wear for my birthday this summer. I ended up not really liking this one once I got it home. So I ended up listing it and selling it for $29 on eBay. So I made a profit of $5.82, but it saved me a trip across town to return it, and it wasn't hard to list. Lily Pulitzer again, but this time a little girl's piece. I had $11 into this classic shift dress from regular old Goodwill. Sold it on Poshmark for $48, which was my full listing price. So I've had this particular month, I had a lot of full price Posh sales, which I told you means they either didn't like the item and wait for an offer, or they purchased it within the first 24 hours that I had it listed, because I don't have my Posh or VA send offers until after that. So that was a great sale. All right, these next 3 items were in a bundle. What was the bundle price? Whatever 16 times 3 is. I split it out that each item they paid $16.67 for. This Cabby sleeveless black French tank top, which came from the bins. This Free People a little twist velvet top also came from the bins. And then this icebreaker teal top, I had $5 into it from Goodwill. So I was $7 or less into these 3 items, and you will see what the bundle price was here, since I can't do math that fast, but that was a great little bundle. I don't have too many bundles on Poshmark. I know some people have a lot of them. I just don't. I know for me as a shopper on Poshmark, I will never buy just one item from a closet because I want to justify the shipping cost. I always find at least 2 things, but all right. And then to end the month of September, another one of those cases of this was sitting in my money pile for a while. This was a Dooney & Bourke purse that I picked up at Goodwill for $34.94. I did pay up for it because I thought it was so cool, and then it just sat because it needed to be cleaned, and I decided to just kind of spot clean it. I decided not to take as much time as I don't know, it just is what it is, but it sold within days of me listing for $80 on Poshmark. So it was still a $30 profit, and it didn't take much effort to wipe it down and get it listed. So the end of September was a pretty successful little month for me. And let's see, we are in November now. November is starting out slow, but I have been listing more items, so I'm hoping things will pick up. October was kind of a bust. I made some okay sales. I'm probably not going to do a what sold video from the month of October. Let me just look real quick. Well, since you're still here, I will share with you a couple highlights from October. I still had an okay month, but not enough to write home about. So I will share a couple of my good ones. Let's see. I sold a pair of Rothy's. I did pay $20 for these Rothy's. Some of them are still selling for decent money. 20 bucks in, they sold for $92 on Poshmark. I'll share like my top 5. Eileen Fisher, this silk jacket, I had $8 into it from Goodwill. Also sold really quickly. It was a size 2X, sold for $82 on eBay. Another Lily Pulitzer item. These were new with the tag. I had $15 into them from Clothes Mentor, but they were the new tag, which is white or creamish and golden. And they sold for $61 on eBay. This was a really cool little sale. It was this big. It was a Coach Penguin keychain. It came out of a fun box, $3.25. You guys, I had this listed in my inventory because there was a time in 2022 when I was really good with like putting everything into my spreadsheet when it came into my house, which is what I'm trying to get back to. Anyway, I did not list this until September of this year. So it literally sat in my house for 3 years. It was sitting on a little shelf in my office for no reason other than I just never took pictures of it. Sold within a week of listing for $60 on Poshmark, this little keychain. So get your stuff listed. And let's see, these McDonald's Crocs. I picked these up at Plato's. I thought maybe my kid would want them. They didn't. So I did have $20 trade-in credits into them. They sold for $57.50 on eBay. So that was really cool. And I had a couple other sales in the 40s and 50s, but those were my best couple little sales. So we will be jumping in and hopefully I will have some more sales coming in. I'll come back and do a November what sold when we get a little bit further into it. But for now, yesterday I raced off to dance. Today I am racing off to a marching band practice to run the uniform store. We've got some organization to do in there and but there are only 3 more practices of this marching season. We would be done. We have our state competition in a week and a half and marching season would be over in terms of the school, but we won our district. We ended up being 9-1, but that last game didn't count. Like we are district champions here in Orange County, and we are playing a game this coming Friday, like November the 14th, we have a game. So if we win it, we keep moving on. It would be great. We were the champions one year when my junior year of high school, and we got to march up in Tallahassee at Florida State, which is where I ended up going. So that was pretty cool. So that would be a cool experience for our kids, but part of me also won't be sad if we end up just being done with football season because it's a lot. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your continued support. Truly, I love our little community here, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.